I'm Steve Reynolds, and I'm excited to moderate the House District 26 remarks today. We invited candidate Meghan Lukens to participate in the debate, but she had a prior engagement, so she sent along a statement to read. We are also pleased to welcome Republican candidate Nathan Butler to provide remarks today in person. So Candidate Butler, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, or kind of this morning, and for your willingness to serve Western Colorado. I will begin by reading candidate Lukens' remarks. Hello, she wrote this in the first person, it's her biography. Hello, I am Meghan Lukens, and I am running for re-election to serve as a state representative for House District 26. Thank you for being here, and thank you to Club 20 for hosting the event. I wish that I could be there in person, but I am in a dear friend's wedding today. If growing up on the Western Slope taught me one thing, it's that Coloradoans know how to solve tough problems. The people of House District 26 deserve representation that understands the unique challenges and opportunities of our region. During my first term as state representative, I delivered results on the issues that matter most to Northwest Colorado: strengthening our economy, investing in our children's education, and protecting our land and water resources. I am running for a second term to further work across the aisle to find solutions for people that I represent and to be a fierce advocate for the Western Slope. Northwest Colorado is becoming harder and harder for people to keep calling home. I am dedicated to fostering a thriving economy on the Western Slope by promoting economic diversity. A key part of this is ensuring that when we transition away from fossil fuel energy, we do not leave behind the people who have relied on these industries for their livelihoods, which is why I support an all-of-the-above energy strategy. During my first term, I sponsored a bill to expand the Rural Jumpstart program, which provides incentives for small businesses and creates jobs in rural areas. To reach our grand vision of connecting Northwest Colorado with passenger rail, I passed Senate Bill 24-190, Rail and Coal Transition Community Economics Measures, to offer financial support to businesses opening in coal transitioning communities that wish to utilize existing rail infrastructure. I sponsored Senate Bill 23-001, a bill that empowers us to make the most of our resources and address housing needs. To ease the burdens on our families, I passed House Bill 24-1237, which facilitates the development of early childhood childcare facilities, and passed a child tax credit that put $170 million back into the hands of hardworking Coloradoans. I have experienced the affordability crisis in Colorado firsthand, and I am committed to lowering the high cost of living and bolstering our middle class. As a member of the Ag, Water, and Natural Resources Committee, I proudly champion the needs of our farmers and ranchers. To mitigate the negative impacts of gray wolf reintroduction, I fought for essential legislation to support and compensate our farmers when damages occur, including the 10J rule and the bill that ultimately was vetoed. We passed the Agricultural Workforce Development Program, which provides financial incentives for farmers, ranchers, and agricultural businesses to hire the next generation of our workforce. I am also proud to have passed action-oriented policies that strengthen our local economies while safeguarding our natural resources. With House Bill 24-1362, measures to incentivize gray water use, we gave any new housing projects the option to collect and conserve water independently. We also improved upon Colorado's drought protection system and provided funding to water conservation efforts so we can manage the water we have in the most efficient way possible. I also sponsored the expansion of the conservation easement tax credit, a bipartisan bill that helps Colorado property owners sustainably manage their land and by extending access to conservation easements. I am determined to continue defending our public lands, uplifting our agriculture economies, and protecting our water. As a current high school teacher, I deeply understand the importance of advocating for quality education, increasing mental health resources in schools, and addressing workforce shortages. With the 2024 School Finance Act, we brought a historic $500 million into our schools, with extra funds being designated to our rural schools that need it most. From investing in our students to fostering a diverse and thriving economy, my focus remains on tackling the issues that matter most to all of us. As we face these challenges together, I promise to bring the same passion and collaborative spirit that has guided my work thus far. With your support, we will deliver meaningful solutions that reflect our collective goals for Northwest Colorado. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce candidate Butler. And Nathan, you have a chance to read your opening remarks.
Awesome, thank you. Sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I want to start by thanking Club20 for having me today, and for everybody here, both here in the audience and online, that are watching and participating in the process. Before I really get started, I want to mention I am a 100% physically disabled veteran. So if you see me shifting around a lot, it is due to my injuries. It's something that I have to manage, and I appreciate your understanding. I apologize in advance if it's distracting. I've lived in Colorado for most of my adult life, and my connection to Western Colorado runs even deeper. My wife's family has lived out here for 4 decades, and I've seen firsthand the strong impacts on our communities that we've had in the lives of ourselves and those around us, especially when relating to coal. I have seen the jobs and the stability that is provided. These are good paying jobs that we are about to lose. We have thousands of workers that are going to be displaced because of the closure of coal, I apologize. These jobs have supported families and local businesses for generations, and we're about to lose that. We're watching that stability that we had disappear. The plants are scheduled to close, at least in Moffett, in 2028. And one of the possible solutions that's being offered is a natural gas plant. The problem is it won't be up and running until at the earliest 2031. That's up to 3 years late, too late for the workers who are about to lose their jobs. It's 3 years of uncertainty for families who rely on these jobs to make ends meet, to make their ends meet. Sorry. We can't ask people to wait for 3 years without a paycheck, without security, and without knowing how they're going to survive. This is not how a responsible transition should happen. While I understand that the energy landscape is changing and renewable energy and natural gas are part of the future, the transition must allow and protect the people who have powered these communities for decades. Right now, what's happening is reckless. The effects are already starting to show in our local businesses. I know me and my wife, we had to sell our business recently because 1, we were unsure about how we were going to go about moving forward, and 2, because I really wanted to focus on this campaign and give the people all of my energy, focus, and all of my time. The very fabric of our district is beginning to unravel because of decisions that are being made on the Front Range with little concern for the people who are living through this crisis. What's most frustrating to me is that we could have handled this very differently. We could be investing in retraining programs right now, making sure that the workers have new opportunities lined up before the plants close. We could be ensuring that there is no gap between the closing of these plants and the opening of the next phase of energy production. But instead, we're being told to wait and hope that things will improve in a few years. That's not good enough for our families, and it's not good enough for our communities. This conversation is not just about energy policy, it's about real people. Families who have given everything to this region are about to be left behind because of poor planning and a lack of leadership. We must demand better. We need leadership who are going to fight for real, immediate solution, not promises that will come 3, 4, 5 years down the line, if at all. We have to take a step back, deregulate where possible, craft policy in a way that helps everyone, and stop pushing pointless partisan agendas that only stand to divide us. Once again, thank you for doing this today, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you, Nathan. We will now move into the question and answer portion of the debate. Candidate Butler, we have 4 questions that were submitted by Club 20 members and our partners. You will have 3 minutes to respond to each question. The first question: the district you hope to represent includes communities that share many similarities, but also have significant differences in demographics, economic drivers, transportation needs, and other areas. Given these differences, how do you propose to best represent the diverse constituencies of this district?
Well, first and foremost, as a representative, it's my job to listen. I'm not there to really push my own values and my own ideas. You do that to an extent, but the vast majority of it is to listen to the people and follow through on what they want. It's not about what I want, it's about what they want. And so I have to go out into every area of the district, into every corner, and get everyone's opinion to the best of my ability, and then compile that together, and then work on crafting legislation that helps everyone, not just one side or the other. This is a nonpartisan issue. So that's my main focus. I know to an extent, one of the things that I would like to see passed within the legislature to help ensure that we're all coming together is a bill that would say, hey, if you want to call a bill bipartisan as a matter of decorum, you need to get at least 50% support from opposition party. This way, everyone is encouraged to come to the table and share all their ideas, and not in a way that can be perceived as token, where you have one person from another party coming in to work on a bill, but it's not really bipartisanship in a sense that anyone would really expect. So I'd like to see things like that to move forward so we can really ensure that the people of Colorado are represented in the way that we want to be represented. Thanks.
Thank you. Second question. Future energy solutions in communities that currently produce energy will involve repurposing efforts and new technologies that will need support. Livelihoods in this district rely on utilizing local natural resources to create wealth to support their communities. If elected, what will you do to support the economic viability of these communities and the energy transition goals, while also supporting affordable and reliable energy for all Coloradans?
Well, as I said in my opening statement, I think what's happening is terrible. I think we're closing down an industry at a time where our inflation is already so high. The people are already struggling to pay for rent, utilities, and the grocery store. And it seems like we're really set on advocating for making the situation worse. If elected, I would really hope we can get to the legislature and have real conversations about reassessing our timeline. It doesn't work. The energy that we are set to provide and when we're set to provide it, it doesn't work on the timeline where when we look at the AI industry, between AI, cryptocurrency, and data banks, we are looking at having at least double our energy requirements by 2026. And yet in 2028, we're set to scale back everything. It just doesn't work. The math isn't there. I don't know how exactly we fix this, but we in the legislature have to come together and come up with a new plan that actually works for our communities. Because as it is right now, we're not doing right by the people that work in our communities and live in our communities.
Thank you. Question number 3. Many in Western Colorado feel that the agricultural industry has not been adequately supported in recent years. How could that support be improved to promote a viable, profitable, and sustainable agricultural industry?
Yeah, so I would like to see agriculture be fully supported. I know that's not something that you see a lot from the Front Range, but I would definitely like to work with anybody who's willing to talk to me, and I will help them in any way that I possibly can. I'm not a traditional politician. I'm new to this, so you'll have to bear with me on some of it. But I know the importance of agriculture. I know the importance of the people that worked in that industry and how long they've been working in that industry to provide, put food on our tables and food in our grocery stores. It's a very important industry, and we have to do what we can to protect them. I know when you look at the wolves, the soon-to-be Wolverines, we're doing a lot of effort to damage the agriculture industry. And once again, it's just a matter of needing to come to the table and craft legislation that really works for us, not necessarily legislation that just works for one party or the other. We have to take care of our people.
Thank you. The 4th question. The urban-rural divide seems to be getting larger in a time when our state needs to come together and tackle many challenges we face. How would you address this divide and help to unite our state if elected to office?
So as I said a moment ago, I'd like to see that legislation that says to call something bipartisan. you have to come to the table and get 50% support from opposition party. This way it would encourage true and meaningful bipartisanship. When you have to get a certain number of people to come in and be on this bill, you're going to be more likely to make concessions that really work for the people and that show the diverse opinions of everyone within the legislature. I think this would go a long way. I know it's going to be difficult to get something like that to pass, but at the very least, if it doesn't, I'd like to see some people come out and explain why they're against true bipartisanship. I really believe that something like that will help encourage even the most extreme politician on any given side to want to come to the table and make meaningful policy changes that will help the people.
Thanks, Nathan, for answering the questions. Now you will have 3 minutes for closing remarks.
I appreciate that. So for me, this is really difficult for me because I live in Craig, and I see firsthand the problems with the closure of our coal industry. I know many people that work in the coal industry. I know people that work at the power plants. They don't know what they're going to do. They don't know where they're going to go, and they're not even sure they can afford to live in the state anymore. It hurts me to see so many people suffering and see a lack of effort to really change the conversation into a way that says, let's slow down on our transition. We can still transition, we can still reach all of our energy goals, but let's do it in a way that works for the people. Let's do it in a way where we have our replacement industries established so these workers that have worked in these industries for decades can transition and continue to live in the area that they want to live, because they're the foundation of our communities, and they're being told that they're either less than or that they don't need to be here. And I'm not okay with that. I want them to be able to come out here and live the way they want to live and just be happy and raise their kids and move forward in life, but that's not what we're getting right now. When you look at, there was an economic impact report that was done by Mesa University as part of the economic transition, and it showed that we're losing 2,800 jobs, and the replacement for it is about 500 jobs. It's a drop in the bucket, and the jobs are not equivalent. It doesn't make up for what we're losing. And in Moffat County alone, our GDP loss is going to be around 47%. This is crippling to a community. When you look at our whole district as a whole, we're going to lose 22% of our overall GDP. Now is not the time to be shutting down our energy sector as our needs continue to rise. I know for me personally, every winter, I have months where my energy bill is upwards of $600, $700. Once we shut down these industries and we have to start importing some of our energy, it's only going to go up. And I'm from what I'm told, mine is one of the lower ones. So I don't want to see these people be kicked out of their homes because they can't afford to keep the lights on. And that's pretty much where I'm at. And I wish I could expound on it more, but I don't have a lot of time left, so forgive me for that. But I think that we, the people of Colorado, can come together and find a solution that works for the people. But it's going to take people that are willing to really look for solutions outside of what we've currently been doing. Thank you.
Candidate Butler, we cannot thank you enough for your willingness to participate in today's debates and for your service to Western Colorado.